Hi, my name's Heather. I'm a certified arborist living and working in Bloomington, Indiana. And today I just wanted to take a quick time out for a pep talk. Um, so, we are in the year 2022, and some people were able to get out and spend their COVID time out in their gardens working. Um, I guess I did get to get some of that in, but sometimes there are events in life, it could be cancer, it could be bereavement or, a new job. Things get really hectic. And sometimes, a garden that we've either started or have been meaning to start, all of a sudden it just gets really hard. And I just want to say that's okay. Um, I have to admit, I myself have had a really hard couple of years. I think I had some health things and memory things and kind of some work things. And I all of a sudden things became really hard. But A, it doesn't stay that forever. And B, sometimes you can just ask for help. Um, so I've spent the last couple weekends at home and just picking out a couple things that I'm going to work on each day, rather than trying to get an entire week's worth of chores done, in a like one day. I've just picked a couple of tasks. Like, I'm going to do this for this long. And, some things are very time specific. And so it's totally okay to prioritize those first, even if maybe you planned to do something else. If you take a walk around and go, oh my gosh, that weed is going to go to seed. Because you know what? That's what I did yesterday. Um, I a lot of things here in my yard are behind, but it really looked like the Japanese stilt grass was ahead of schedule. So I just decided to just drop it, everything else, and just pull stilt grass. Um, and that's how we can make some progress. So, if you have some weeds growing on your property and you want to think about how to prioritize them, look at which ones are closest to blooming and or setting seed. Those should always take precedence. Um, you know, there's a lot of things as far as taking care of plants that we can do just about any old time. Um, there's a few things that we have very short windows for. Like for me, I only prune dogwoods from the middle of June to the first week of August. It seems to work best. And so, like, say, whether it's planning out my schedule or, training the new dogwood in our backyard, I know that this period of time is when I can, perform this task. Um, some other things. Oh, yeah. So there's this weird thing that happens when you've had a garden. Um, like my first plant gig was actually being a gardener, and that garden that I went to work at had been put in, I think, 30 years prior, just about that. And even if there wouldn't have been some poor landscaping practices, the properties still would have been in need of some adjustment. Um, so sometimes what happens is, you might need to do some pruning up on some trees, like our middle ground and our top are starting to meld. Uh, they're one thing too is trying to keep a garden bed of a certain size the same size forever is really hard, especially around lawns. It's always better to try and increase your bed size like each year by maybe a spade's width, and that way you know you have less lawn to mow, but also that helps us be able to spread out the garden bed as it ages. Um, so I tell people it's just an awkward phase, and all gardens get them, and it just about everyone gets stressed out about it. Um, and I would, people would call me to come do an estimate or something, and they'd be so embarrassed. They'd say, "Oh my God, my yard, it's so out of control." But, to me, I saw a garden that was in its awkward phase. And it always got better. It just, a little tweak here, a little tweak there, and we're back to having peace in the garden. And I know this is true because I am living through it right now. Um, my garden is definitely in an awkward phase. There's spots that are very fresh because they're newer. There's spots that, have an invasive plant problem that I'm having to deal with. There's spots where maybe I was trying an experiment, like the pink flowering raspberry that I was like, oh, those are so yummy. Let's let it stay and we'll figure out a trellis thing. Yeah, don't do that. But it's gonna be okay. And so I think really, whether you pay to have a consultant, most arborists, you can pay someone to come walk around your property and give you some fresh perspective on, things that would keep your plants healthy. Um, or a gardener, uh, or a plant healthcare professional. Um, so often it doesn't take that big a fix to help an awkward garden into its next phase, because really that's what we want, when we get to that place where you know we have those few years where we get to just fiddle around. We can be out, moving. Like right now I'm moving aster seedlings all over the place because it's fun. And so I consider that puttering in the garden. And, then there are some times when, it is more like, you know, more intense. So I've got my stilt grass in the back that I'm dealing with. But it's just always okay. And it's just what it is. So anyway, don't get discouraged. Don't give up. Don't mow it all down. Um, it really will be okay. I've seen it. So anyway, have a great day. I hope you have some weather that lets you be out in the garden today. Thanks. Bye bye.